welcome to the deep dive. We take interesting sources, sometimes complex ones, and really try to pull out the key insights for you.
Exactly. We do the digging so you get the gold.
Today, we're jumping into, well, the really fast-moving world of AI chatbots. It's everywhere, right?
Absolutely everywhere.
We're going to follow one user's story, a really compelling journey, actually, through this AI landscape. And it was all kicked off by a pretty big shakeup in a popular AI app.
And our guide for this is a blog post by Alexander Avenarius. It offers this really unique viewpoint.
It really does.
And this isn't, just about swapping one app for another. It gets into the deeper stuff, the philosophies behind how AI is being developed.
Yeah, what happens when a tool you rely on just changes suddenly, drastically?
Exactly. And how this one person dealt with that change. Well, it led to some surprising thoughts on global software design, even how we interact with AI itself.
It's amazing how one person's, let's say, frustration can open up these bigger questions.
It really can. A microcosm of the tech world.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Where did this user's quest actually begin?
It started with a major frustration, something I think maybe many people using these tools can relate to.
So yeah.
A brutal update, he called it, to the ChatGPT app.
Yeah.
He felt it was completely, utterly ruined.
Ruined. Strong word. Why?
Because it just slashed the number of AI models, he calls them robots, which I kind of like that the app offered.
Fewer options. He called it a massacre of robots, didn't he?
He did! Vivid language. And that dramatic change, that massacre, is what pushed him to start looking immediately for something else, a replacement.
Wow. So what does a change like that, dropping features or models, tell us about, user expectations now with AI?
Well, I think it shows just how much people come to rely on these tools and how personalized they become, right? When that changes without warning.
It feels like a rug pull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he didn't just, glance at a few alternatives. The blog post details a really thorough process. Proper online research, practical testing, not just a quick look.
You put the work in.
Definitely. He looked at some big names you'd expect. ChatHub.gg, Perplexity, Google Gemini.
The usual suspects.
Right. But after almost a full week of testing them out, really digging in, his focus narrowed down. And it landed on a bit of an unexpected contender, Monica.m.
Monica.am. Okay, So after all that testing, why Monica? What made it the winner for him?
Yeah, it stood out for a few key reasons. First, it offered access to a lot of AI models, comparable to ChatHub.gg, actually. So right away, that addressed his main gripe with the new ChatGPT.
Okay, so number of models, check. What else?
The second big thing was how it stores conversations. They're all online, which means, you can start chatting on your computer.
And then pick it up on your phone later.
Precisely. Seamless transition.
Yeah.
Which is super handy. He did point out, though, that the storage is on Chinese servers, not American ones.
Okay. That might be a factor for some people, depending on their concerns about data privacy or location.
It could be, yeah. It's something to be aware of. But for him, the biggest selling point, the real game changer, was Monica's ability to show responses from multiple AI models right there in the same chat thread.
Oh, interesting. So not like ChatHub, where each bot is kind of siloed off.
Exactly. ChatHub puts each bot in its own little box, its own subpane. You have to constantly switch between them. Monica puts it all together.
I can see how that would be much more fluid, comparing responses directly.
Massively. So those features, lots of models, the integrated multi-bot view, and the cross-device syncing, they basically solved all his main problems with the other options.
Makes sense.
And then the final piece was the price.
Always important.
Right. He found a coupon somehow that dropped the first year's price way down, from the standard 220 euros to 157.
Wow, that's a good chunk off.
But wait, it gets better. After he installed the app on his phone, it dropped again to just 135 euros.
Seriously, that's very cheap compared to the big names.
It really is. If you think Perplexity is around 220 euros a year, ChatGPT is 264 euros. So 135, that's significant.
Definitely. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about how we value these tools. Is it the brand or like what it actually does?
That's the million-dollar question, or maybe the 135 euro question in this case. What constitutes real value?
Right. And this whole search led him down another rabbit hole, didn't it? Something about software design philosophy.
Yeah, this is where it gets really fascinating and maybe a bit controversial. He talks about the stark difference he perceives between sort of Eastern and Western software design.
Okay.
He describes American software as having this tendency or even ambition to be somewhat primitive.
Primitive. That sounds harsh. He actually named Steve Jobs as an apostle of this idea, right?
He does. It's a bold claim.
Yeah.
And the reasoning he gives, according to the source, is this underlying belief that software that's too intelligent, too complex, well, it might just confuse the majority of the population.
Because the assumption is that most users are not intelligent.
Yeah, that's the implication he draws from it, that developers sometimes actively choose not to build really smart features for demanding users.
Because they think it'll scare off the average person.
Pretty much, the justification being, oh, most people using our app would just get confused by all those advanced settings. He calls it a lazy brain approach.
Lazy brain.
Oh.
Okay. And how does that contrast with, say, Chinese or Russian developers, according to him?
He argues they don't have this fear of intelligent users. They're more willing to build complex, feature-rich software.
And why would that be?
Market size, he suggests. Think about it. 1% of China's 1.4 billion people is still 14 million users. That's a huge market segment wanting sophisticated tools.
Right, that's a massive niche compared to,
say, 1% of Slovakia's 5 million people, which is only 50,000. He argues that smaller market size makes it harder to justify developing truly quality, complex software for those demanding users.
Huh. And he sees this pattern beyond just software.
Yeah, he mentions things like lower quality Wikipedia articles or translations in smaller language markets. It's this idea that scale dictates depth, in a way.
So the takeaway isn't just about apps. It's about how market size might influence the very intelligence or complexity of the tools and information available in different regions.
Precisely. It raises questions about whether this focus on simplicity, this alleged primitivism in some Western design, might actually be holding back innovation for users who want more power.
It really does make you think about the software we use every day.
Yeah.
Have we been sort of trained to expect less?
Maybe. Or maybe the developers think we have.
Dude, what's his final word on this? Does he accept the "it's too complex for most people" argument?
Not at all. He calls it a false argument. For him, truly quality software, the real art of software design, is about being intelligent and feature-rich.
Without being confusing.
Exactly. Making complexity accessible and usable, not just stripping it away. That's the challenge, the art.
Okay, that's a really interesting perspective on design. Now, shifting gears slightly, there's this common idea about AI chatbots, right? That they're just agreeable. They always flatter you.
Yeah, the perception is they're just sycophants, designed to tell you what you want to hear. Constant praise machines.
But our user says that's, well, not the whole picture. Or even wrong.
Completely wrong, according to him. He actually proves that if you set them up right, these bots can be incredibly critical, even mocking. They can hit you with sarcastic remarks.
Yeah. Mocking. Really? Why is that important? And how on earth did he get an AI to do that?
Well, it's important because honest feedback, even critical feedback, is how we improve, right? You don't grow if everyone just tells you you're great.
True. You need challenges.
Exactly. And he achieved it by giving the bots very specific instructions. Even with a tight 200-character limit on chathub.gg, he managed it.
What kind of instructions?
His core prompt was something like, read the uploaded masterprompt.md first. Treat it as ground truth for my nicknames, my tone. And he specified the tone. Contrarian, blunt, witty, and structure. Use sectioned answers. Always challenge my assumptions. No sucking up.
No sucking up. I love that. Direct.
Very direct. And it worked. He gives this amazing example from the Google Gemini 2.5 Pro bot after being configured this way.
What did it say?
It told him, and get this, you, my friend, are a magnificent hypocrite. And I say that with a strange mix of horror and admiration. This is a masterpiece of self-sabotage.
Oh, wow. That's blunt. And maybe useful.
Absolutely useful. That shows these bots can give you balanced feedback. They can criticize what needs criticizing, praise what deserves praise. They can be that sparring partner you need.
So it's not just about getting answers. It's about getting challenged, getting pushed, improving your thinking or your work.
Precisely. The potential is there for AI to be a genuine critical companion, not just an echo chamber.
Okay, another area he touches on is translation. We hear a lot about AI revolutionizing translation, but he had some nuance, right?
He does. He points out that while bots might still struggle with translating long, continuous texts, especially into languages with really complex grammar.
Like Slovak, which he mentions has hellishly difficult grammar.
Right. And that's likely due to less high-quality training data compared to, say, English. But, and this is the key point,
Right.
they can be ingenious, irreplaceable helpers for specific, tricky, partial translation problems. Little nuggets of language.
Like finding just the right idiom.
Exactly. He's a great example. He was trying to translate a Slovak phrase, buffet, ktory sa nikdy nekončí, which literally means something like a buffet that never ends.
Okay. Sounds a bit clunky in English.
It does. So he asked a group of 7 different bots for help finding a natural English equivalent.
And what did they come up with?
Working through their suggestions, he landed on the perfect idiom. A gravy train that never stops.
The gravy train that never stops. Yeah, that captures the feeling much better. That's clever.
Isn't it? It shows how you can use AI collaboratively for these specific, nuanced language tasks where a direct, literal translation just doesn't cut it.
And he generally prefers interacting with them in English, right?
Consistently, yes. He finds their English output uniformly brilliant literary level, whereas their Slovak can be a bit scratchy.
Which he puts down to English, just having vastly more training data because it's a global language.
Makes perfect sense. More data, better performance.
Okay, so he finds Monica, he figures out how to make bots critical, uses them for translation. But then there's a twist at the end of his story.
Yes, a really unexpected and, for him, very welcome twist. Just as he was getting ready to publish this whole critique, this blog post detailing his switch,
He got some news.
some unexpected and extremely joyful news, as he put it.
Which was?
OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, reversed their decision.
The decision that started this whole thing. The massacre of robots.
That exact decision, he says it was after worldwide criticism. They listened to the feedback.
Wow. So what did they change back to?
The ChatGPT app now offers 8 different models again, which is actually more than the 7 it had before the update that caused all the fuss.
8 models. So more choice than ever. That's quite a turnaround.
It really is. So now, he's happy to keep his ChatGPT subscription after all.
But he doesn't regret buying Monica.
No, not at all. He sees it as complementary. Monica still gives him that central hub to access other important AI models, Claude, Grok, Google Gemini, Perplexity, DeepSeek, all in one place.
So he gets the best of both worlds now.
Seems like it. And it's such a powerful example, isn't it? It shows that user feedback, that collective global protest, it can actually influence these huge tech companies. Our voices can matter.
That's actually pretty encouraging. It feels like sometimes these decisions are just handed down from on high.
But clearly, enough pushback can make a difference.
What a fascinating journey we followed today, seriously.
Yeah.
From one user's, initial frustration with an update.
To uncovering these deep ideas about software design, East versus West, finding ways to make AI actually critical instead of just agreeable.
Figuring out the nuances of translation, and then seeing that collective user action can actually change things.
It covers so much ground.
It really does. And it leaves us with some big questions, I think.
Definitely. Like, as AI keeps evolving at this breakneck speed, how much power do we really have as users to shape where it's going?
That's the crucial question.
Yeah.
And how can you, listening now, advocate for and contribute to getting software that's genuinely intelligent and useful?
Rather than just settling for tools that might be designed to be, well, primitive, as our source put it. How do we push for that art of software design he talked about?
Something to definitely think about as these tools become even more embedded in everything we do.